Well, hello, hope all is well. It is another edition of the Lives and Lessons Learned of 100 Christians. Today we're doing somebody who lived a long time ago. Blaise Pascal. You might have heard that name. He was a French mathematician, physicist, inventor, philosopher, and theologian whose profound intellect and spiritual insights left an enduring mark on science and Christian thought. He was born in France to a tax official and a mathematician, and to Antoinette, his mother, who died when he was only 3 years old. Pascal grew up in a devout and intellectually vibrant home, the second of three children with sisters Gilberty and Jacqueline. He was a child prodigy, educated by his father after the family moved to Paris in 1631. By age 11, he wrote a treatise on vibrating bodies, vibrations. At 16, he published a groundbreaking essay on conic sections, earning praise from René Descartes, who's another famous person, who initially doubted the teenager's authorship. That's funny. His early inventions included the Pascaline, 1642, a mechanical calculator, cementing his mathematical genius. His scientific contributions were vast. He confirmed Torricelli's barometer experiments, formulating Pascal's law of fluid mechanics. You're familiar with that, in 1647, which underpins hydraulics, which you probably know about. He pioneered probability theory with Pierre de Fermat, influencing modern statistics and advanced projective geometry. Despite frail health, likely migraines, and other later neurological issues, he worked relentlessly, often bedridden but dictating ideas. His personal life was ascetic. He never married, prioritizing intellectual and spiritual pursuits over wealth or romance. Though he cared deeply for his family, especially Jacqueline, his sister, who became a nun, his spiritual journey was transformative. He was raised Catholic. His faith deepened through Jansenism, a rigorous Catholic reform movement emphasizing grace and predestination, which he encountered via Port Royal, a near-death accident in 1654, where his carriage nearly plunged into the Seine, which is a Seine, whatever, can't remember, that's a river, triggered a mystical night of fire, November 23rd, 1654. This 2-hour encounter with God, recorded in his memorial, that was sewn into his coat, if you know that story, look it up, shifted his focus from science to theology. So he had an experience that shifted his focus. Certainly, heartfelt joy and peace. Jesus Christ, he abandoned most secular pursuits, embracing again asceticism and defending Jansenism against Jesuit critics. All right. He wrote a book written under the pseudonym Louis de Montale, brilliantly satirized Jesuit causality, so silly, defending Jansenist theology with wit and logic, earning acclaim as a literary masterpiece. But his magnum opus, Pensées, Thoughts, was an unfinished apologetic for Christianity, compiled posthumously from his notes. It aimed to persuade skeptics through reason and the famous, what we know as Pascal's wager, arguing that belief in God is a rational bet given the eternal stakes. Pascal died at 39. I didn't realize he was that young, in Paris, from some sort of stomach ailment, possibly cancer or ulcers, leaving a legacy of intellectual rigor and spiritual depth. His sister, Gilberte, however you say it, biography and Pensées ensures his enduring influence. What about his legacy? His works, translated globally, bridge science, philosophy, and theology. Again, his book, Thoughts, published posthumously, as I mentioned, is a cornerstone of Christian apologetics, with fragments or phrases like "the heart has its reasons, which reason knows nothing of." The heart has its reasons, which reason knows nothing of, capturing his blend of intellect and faith. He helped shape French prose and theological debate, scientific treatises on vacuums, probability, and geometry influenced people like Isaac Newton. His one book, though impractically commercially, prefigured computing. That's kind of interesting. Biographies like Blaise Pascal, Reasons of the Heart, portray him as a genius with a limp, balancing brilliance with frailty. All right, so what kind of lessons can we learn from his life? Here, first off, integrate reason with faith for robust belief. Pascal's wager and his book Pensies or Thoughts show reason can lead to faith. All right, we have a reasonable faith. His scientific rigor informed apologetics, urging skeptics to weigh eternity's stakes logically. Embrace the heart's role in knowing God. The Night of Fire revealed God beyond intellect, this experience that he had. Pascal taught that heart has its reasons for faith, complementing reason with spiritual intuition. So there's reason and spiritual intuition. They work together. Defend truth with courage and wit. One of his books used satire to expose Jesuit moral laxity, showing Pascal's boldness in defending doctrine despite the persecution that he felt in his stream of Catholicism. Live simply, prioritizing eternal over the temporal. Rejecting wealth and fame, he embraced asceticism, which again is just real basic simplicity of life. After his conversion, focusing on God's glory, his frail health underscored life's brevity or shortness. Persevere in suffering with purpose. Again, his chronic illness and early death didn't deter him. He worked through pain, seeing suffering as a path to dependence on God's grace. There's good. His legacy, a mind that mastered equations and a heart that sought Christ, urging us to bet on eternity. As he wrote, the greatness of man is great in that he knows himself to be miserable. Interesting. So acknowledge your weaknesses, I guess. That's a good way to say it. All right. Interesting. Take care. God bless. Bye.